Hi everyone, I'm Pavlos,
Hi, I'm James.
and let's do a quick introduction. I am a project leader at BCG in the Technology Advantage practice area and the Financial Institutions practice area, and I also lead the Pride at BCG network here in the London office.
I'm a consultant here in London. I've worked at BCG just coming up for 4 years now, and I mostly work in the financial services practice at this point also. I'm heavily involved in the network, but I'm actually part of the team which leads some of our campus outreach activities. So I look after Cambridge, where I originally studied, and so I find myself out in Cambridge talking to talented LGBT students all the time.
Excellent. So a quick introduction on what we're discussing today. So the key point of this live broadcast is to really talk about our diversity initiatives in LGBT plus sphere and our respective personal experiences, really. Also very important to really acknowledge the fact that it's June, so this is Pride Month, and we're doing a bunch of things at the London office as part of this. A lot of celebrations for Pride Month, as well as also explaining and engaging the whole office on the significance of it and what it really means for the LGBT population.
Definitely. I mean, it's a big month for us, right? To kind of really speak loudly around the office, talk to people about, what Pride means to us. There's a social element too, of course, but it's really our time to kind of sing loud and proud, if you like. There's buzzing at the moment in the office. Really
exactly. And we are preparing for a social event for the whole office, which actually is always quite a lot of fun. So that would be quite fun. Then James, why don't you tell me a little bit more about your personal experience, about your own, how you joined the network and the initiatives that you are involved in?
Yeah, so I mean, immediately when I joined BCG, sort of 4 years ago, I was kind of immediately joined the network. It seemed to be a great group of people, and it's definitely it's a good group of colleagues to sort of get to know and actually have become great friends actually as part of the network. So there's definitely a sort of social element to it, but I think more important than that, it's sort of a professional network as well. So it's been a great opportunity for me to meet colleagues in London and Europe, around the world. We do conferences quite regularly as part of the Pride BCG network. So it's a great opportunity to network, definitely, and get to know people. I think for me, a couple of things which are important. I think so the mentor program has been super helpful for me. So I was assigned a sort of senior LGBT mentor within London. It's been really helpful from day one, thinking about what I want to get out of my time at BCG, but also more recently thinking about, I've just started as a secondment, and my mentor was super helpful in thinking about what I really want to get out of that as well.
What does a secondment really mean for those who are listening to us? They might be interested about that as well.
Definitely. So I've just started a sort of 6-month placement, if you like, where it's just me, seconded, and I'm working in a pension fund. And so I'm sort of heading up end-to-end business transformation, really.
So it's basically usually for an industry placement, basically. So within BCG, you still remain at BCG, but you have the opportunity to see what it's like outside.
So I sort of stay formally within BCG, but actually it's an opportunity to sort of live life on the the other side and see what it's like to really own something yourself without the case team around you, and actually what is it like to really lead something yourself. And it's a totally different experience, super rewarding, and actually just a great, it's a different flavour to add to my consulting toolkit as well.
That's great. Yes.
So it's been fantastic.
Great. And you mentioned your Pride at BCG network role in terms of campus outreach. Might be interesting to also mention what we do in terms of helping high potential students with a case workshop as well in the summer.
Definitely. It's a big part of our team, actually, isn't it? So kind of engaging with university campuses around the UK. One from a kind of chatting to people who are interested in consulting, and we run a workshop in August for those who are interested in consulting, and they come in and we talk all about what it means to have a case interview, what consulting interviews look like, and how you can prep for those. But I think even more broader than that, it's more just to give folks an opportunity to chat to someone about what it's like to be out at work. What does that look like? What are your experiences? What are you worried about? And actually just have a chat with someone about career advice and that kind of thing as well. So it's something we do in campuses around the UK, but I'm very passionate about Cambridge. That's where I originally studied, so I'm back and forth all the time. But no, I mean, it's a big part of our team, and it's definitely a big priority, I think, for us.
That's great. Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested to hear, you've been part of the network since I joined, almost from day one. You're now heading up the London network, if you like. the network has grown so much since I joined, not just in terms of size and the absolute number of people, but in terms of what we do within BCG, but actually in the broader world. And I was just interested to hear, from your role or position within the network, what are the big priorities that we're focusing on at the moment?
Yeah. So you're right, actually. So the network has grown substantially over the recent years. So a few numbers and a few stats, which I think are quite helpful to put things into perspective. So the network is now 21 years old. So it's not, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
In the presence, we have more than 400 members around the world, and that's growing quite fast as well. And in the London office specifically, actually, we have close to 40 members, around that number. Maybe we're over that just now, which is basically 10% of the membership. So it is one of the larger private BCG network offices.
Yeah.
In terms of what we're doing, you mentioned a host of initiatives that we run, like for instance, the career mentorship, which is a global initiative, the campus outreach initiatives, as well as other affiliation, networking initiatives, and also engaging allies and engaging the wider office. But also, I think what we've done recently is we've tried to expand and look beyond the walls of BCG. So we are trying to trial new things and try and find ways to host events for the wider industry on diversity topics and LGBTQ topics as well. So specifically, I'll mention three things that are particularly interesting for me, at least personally. One of them is the relationship that we have with involved people. It's a membership organization, and we participate and we also host events. Recently, we had an event on amplifying LGBTQ voices and particularly focusing on the plus of LGBTQ plus. And Elliot Vaughan, a partner in the London office, he moderated the panel on that discussion. Then something that I feel very passionately about is the work that we do in furthering LGBTQ human rights internationally. So I think we've started through two main relationships to do that. And we're learning, and we're trying to figure out what we can do in this space. But basically, we are a member of the Open for Business coalition. So it's a coalition that makes the economic case and the business case for inclusion. And as part of that, we try to contribute some research and try to engage on basically the economic case for the developing world and other emerging countries. Where you can really look at the issues that they're facing, using an economic lens, and that's something I feel very passionately about. I think it's a big role of what businesses can do globally and internationally. Then we also have a relationship with Give Out. So Give Out is a charity that fundraises for the global LGBTQI movement. It's actually a registered charity in the UK, and it has been founded by Elliot Vaughan, a partner in the London office. And we're working with the executive director and his wider team in terms of figuring out what the corporate engagement and fundraising strategy could be. So I personally feel quite passionately about those topics because they take the position that we have here in the UK and they look more globally. And it's an opportunity, I think, BCG really helps, gives me the opportunity to do all those things outside, the core client work, which I think is a particular, way to kind of like use our skill sets accordingly.
And they're open for business, so it's quite interesting actually, because it's really trying to do things a little bit differently and saying that actually for business, LGBT broader diversity and inclusion is not just it's not an HR issue, it's not a people issue, it's actually a strategic issue. And the sort of strategic business case for being inclusive is extremely phenomenally strong. And actually, it should sit alongside any other strategic initiative that you have. I think, recently Open for Business has published a couple of reports that are particularly useful to kind of like frame that. I think one of them was on Taiwan and the economic and business case for full marriage equality. Which Taiwan actually passed it as the first country in Asia to do that. And I think what we really see through the coalition is that actually looking at the business angle in terms of revenue, profit, as well as also other aspects like talent, mobility, attractiveness for the global talent market, etc., really provides a mechanism to reframe the issue, typically from a moral one to like a more economic one, and it provides
it rounds up the business case for doing something about it, and it's generally something that the businesses around the world that are part of the coalition, and not just those ones, but other ones are really keen to make the case for this, and it provides a good way to have conversations and engage the public and engage policymakers. It's just a different angle.
It's a win-win. It's a business win-win. It's a moral win-win. I mean, it's kind of creates that double argument, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a sort of sweet spot for us, I guess, as BCG. That's right in our core skill set. Is how do we think? What does a business case look like? What's the rationale for doing something strategically?
I'm sure you've done many business cases while at BCG, so have I. So I think it helps. It generally is something that we can bring to the cause.
Definitely.
So I think maybe as we're now just over 10 minutes in, it would be great to hear maybe a little bit of your background and your perspective on how did you find coming out at work, and I suppose at BCG and also beyond with your clients and being authentic at work. If you can tell any stories, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've got a few stories. I think, so to be honest with you, I think I've been quite lucky in that actually being authentic and being out is never something that has really been almost some sort of massive issue. It's sort of quite natural for me to be quite open. And actually, coming into working life actually straight out of uni was not something that I'd really kind of thought carefully about. It hadn't occurred to me that it would be, something that would be on my radar, if you like. But actually, the one thing I did notice when I sort of moved into the world of work is it's not something that naturally comes up in conversation unless, it's not something you just immediately pull out as a conversation starter. But having said that, actually, I think for me, the times that I have been super open and kind of defaulting to that now, it actually helps build personal relationships, professional relationships, actually, because people, in the workplace get to know you as a person, as well as a colleague or a client, etc. And so actually, I think it's been quite powerful. Actually, I can think of several examples actually where good relationships that I have professionally now are been improved by me just being more open. And so whilst it's not always super easy to kind of throw that into a conversation, it's definitely, I find it's worth wherever you can, just being super open, because it's been helpful.
And I think actually it's interesting because it's not something that could come up in conversations very early on, but I think there is ways. I think through your what I find is through my involvement through the Pride Network, it's something I can say, well, actually there is this event coming up which I'm organizing on, or this campus activity, and I think that's a way perhaps to make it more practical and easy to kind of like do. But I do agree with you. I have similar experiences, and I think one experience that was particularly interesting and funny actually in retrospect was one. I was on a client case and we were in the working team room. And I actually I remember I needed a mouse to do my work for my laptop, and I was using an LGBT network branded mouse that we were given recently for an event. And I remember I was there on the team room. Then clearly the client noticed, and then when we went for lunch, he started making comments and saying that about all the gay friends that he has, and all the him and his wife, how they have gay friends, and I was thinking like, that's a very odd conversation. Why is he doing that?
Where's this coming from?
and then I realized that's probably why, and then I thought but I thought that was a very nice gesture to kind of to reach out and try and kind of like converse on the topic and acknowledge it, which I thought was actually quite a nice gesture from his side. And definitely I do find that actually that then helped have deeper relationships and talk about things outside work as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we're incredibly fortunate to be working in the UK, London, where it's extremely easy to be out and actually quite happily walk around with a rainbow mouse, and people are just interested to hear.
Exactly.
But I think it just means that actually we sort of have a bit of a duty, really, to do what we can to support people in countries where it's not as easy to do that. Your rainbow mouse wouldn't be as easy to get out, if you like. So but I think it's something we do a lot in BCG actually, wherever we can. But I think it just it's easy to forget how easy it really can be to be authentic.
Exactly. At the end of the day, obviously we want to protect people in other less fortunate geographies, but and their personal safety. But yes, where we can do things, I think it's BCG provides a platform such as our relationships with non-profits to try and change things around the world. That was great talking to you, James.
Yeah, there we go.
Hope you have a good rest of the day, and
Yeah, same to you.
and thank you very much for